Hello everybody, Zeidoktor here, and this episode of the Typical Manga Review is going to be dedicated to My Hero Academia, Chapter 108, Rush. And this chapter begins a little bit before the last chapter did. Basically, last chapter we were at 70-something people passed. We're going back to when there were only 60 people who had passed. And we're focusing on Ketsubuchi Academy, Ms. Joke's team, and specifically Yoshindo and his group. He's kind of recapping the situation at the moment. By focusing, he's noting by they managed to fluster and divide UA by focusing on them. We split up, so now it's time to split up into two teams and go after them. Plenty of other schools are getting a free ride, though, and if they get closer to the end of the test, they're going to start fighting each other, and the whole battlefield is going to become a real mess. The Shark/Turtle Girl is noting that cracking the battlefield apart like they did earlier is now kind of working against them. And Shindo notes that he went a bit overboard, but he still knows that if he uses an analogy that if you give someone 8 hours to chop firewood, it's better off he's spending the first 6 sharpening the axe. Because now everyone's out there just panicking about the dwindling remaining spots, and they're wasting energy just running around the war zone. They all have plenty of intel on UA, but that's blinding them to the bigger picture. Meanwhile, Dirk can just sit back and observe quietly until it's time to move. And if he does, he's getting like this really mean-looking grin on his face, which Shark/Turtle Girl is like finally giving that fake smile a rest. Huh. Yep. Of course, he also knows that like all that panicking in the 11th hour, it just goes to show how persistent everyone is. Everyone there today is struggling to realize their dreams and goals. I'm not going to judge them for struggling so hard, he says as the flashback ends. Back in the present, see here. Back in the present, we've now got 82 people passed, and we see it just as Bakugo's group and Deku's group are pretty much arriving at the same time. Kaminari, Uraraka, and Kirishima are all doing a happy dance. You did it, yatta, yatta, we did it. They actually have yatta in English on there. That's actually a little surprising. Like, on the Viz version, I should say. I mean, obviously the Japanese or the Scanlations are going to have it there pretty clearly. Which is a bit odd, because to me, like, most people know yatta means alright or something similar, like, yes! So why not just translate it like that, rather than just keep it? And that never made much sense to me. Unless it's like a specific catchphrase. Anyway, Deku's noting that, Bakugo rather is noting that Deku passed, and Deku's like all panicked because like really they haven't really spoken at all since the Kamino incident, or ever really. But as he's walking away, Bakugo makes an interesting comment. It's like, no wonder, given that power of yours. And while Deku's trying to comprehend all that, it's like, that borrowed power, you made it your own, huh? And he's obviously referring to this is obviously a big hint that Bakugo finally has worked out this trick between him and All Might. I mean, he's had plenty of hints, and so it's not surprising that he figured it out, but still. Right. Continuing on, we see that Yaoyorozu has passed, and she has Jiro and Soji with her. Make Soji the tentacle, or tentacool rather. So they're all, yeah, actually we saw them last chapter, I don't know what I'm thinking. But anyway, they're all celebrating. It's like Jiro's like, huh, no what? I tell you beat us to it, Bakugo, but no, it makes sense now. You had Kaminari with you. Like a little dig at him. Yeah. And Todoroki notes that they now have 11 members of their class done with this test. But now, with 82 people having passed, there's only 18 slots left. And Yaoyorozu is particularly worried about Ida. Back in the battlefield, we actually, along with Ida, we're also focusing on Aoyama. Merde, it seems that the two of us have found ourselves in the midst of this chaos. I don't imagine our odds of survival are very high, Ida. And in fact, that's pretty much exactly what they're at. They're basically right in the thick of fighting a whole bunch of people. And we get a little quickie flashback to Ida finding Aoyama. He's actually trying to get everybody gathered together and prepared to act, even at the risk of failing the test himself. Like he's running around alone. And I almost noticed that you don't even know who might be left out there. What will you do when the others take their wins and leave you behind? But Ida's like, I found you, didn't I? If the others pass without me, that's fine. I'm the president of Class A. He's the leader. He's the one meant to lead others. He wants to buy the class as much time as possible as he can, because that's what his brother would do. And but still, he would like to win, so he's going to join with Aoyama, and while they search for the others, try and get their own wins in the process. Right, back in the present, we get the announcement from Mr. Muppet Man that 8 more people have passed at once. Well, at least like 10 slots remaining, and Ms. Jokes is excited because she's pretty safely assuming that those are her kids that won. Yep, and I guess he spots them waiting for the waiting room. Sindo and his gang really pulled it off. Aizawa was like only 10 more remaining. Noting that. And Yayo Rosie notes that there are still 9 from Class A. Having them all test may not be possible. Meanwhile, we have Aoyama like noticing a comment Ida made about his actions reflecting his dreams, and thinking back to his papa and mama, and why is he so different from everyone else? And then he just kind of does a suplex stance backward and just fires his belly button laser straight up into the air. He's wondering what the hell he's doing. Like, no, really, what are you doing? Standing out. Yes, you really are. That's not good. But Aoyama knows that if Ida tries to save him, he goes down too. But Aoyama already has 2 of his targets lit up, so 1 more and he's out. So he's decided that if he's going to go down, he's at least going to give Ida the shot to proceed. Like, Ida's wondering what the hell he's doing, but Aoyama's just exactly what you've heard. And states that he's always wanted to feel equal. Which is odd, but we'll get there in a minute, I guess. But as he lasers blasting up in the air, pigeons, a whole mess of pigeons just flock in and surround everything, and make a big old mess of it. And we see Kodez actually directing them, telling them to keep circling that one spot. Meanwhile, behind the actual bird, we have Tokoyami, our favorite little Falco Shadow, using covert Black Ops arms and just taking out everybody. Another competitor steps on sticky balls and are getting stuck where they are and realizing that it's Mineta. Okay, I forget I can never remember his proper name, but Tailman basically is like telling him to get everybody to get as many targets as he can before somebody else gets them. And Mineta is just tossing balls out there, just like nobody's business. Here, there you go. I'm gonna get that name while I'm thinking about it here, because otherwise I'm just gonna forget all over again. Ojiro, thank you. Okay, there it was. Ojiro. So many different names on here. It's hard to keep track sometimes. But anyway, so we got Koda, we got Tokoyami, Mineta, and Ojiro. Next up, it's Hagakure. So he's using something like warp refraction, say cheese, and amusingly enough, she flashes them. In this case, literally flashing them. Right, and basically there's they're calling out their shots, like Tailman's not Hagakure's now she's got hers, Ojiro's got his. And then while Sugar Man there is holding on to a Sato is holding up a thing to block some of the balls. We see Ashido behind him. They actually started freaking out a bit because they couldn't tell friend from foe because things were just becoming a big mess. But Aoyama's belly button laser just became a big old beacon for them, and they all came together from that. And Ashido gets hers. Tokoyami and Mineta get theirs, and basically they're all conquering one after the other. Yoei, as the Muppet Man's announcing that Yoei is totally dominating these final moments, securing their wins with the vicious combo moves. While Aizawa was just looking at, they were noting that they were still in the running. Right? And Ida is assuring Aoyama that while he doesn't know what he means by equal, perhaps you're just using a different measuring stick. Either way, this is all thanks to you. And at that moment, Muppet Man announces that it's over. 100 have successfully passed. They are done. Finished. Woo. As you know, I can't stop twinkling. Yes, of course. I don't understand it, but yes. On a less uplifting note, could all those who failed please proceed to the exit? Just straight to the point, Muppet Man is. And everybody's celebrating that everybody in the class passed the first round. little thing that is not easy to notice. In fact, I didn't see it until someone noted it to me. Is like when they're all jumping up and down, Minato's right behind Uraraka and looking right where you would expect him to be looking. Meanwhile, for Shiketsu, Inasa is just like shocked that Shishikura really failed. But one of them, the fuzzy Chewbacca looking guys, like the drama queen dashed out alone and tried to do it solo. The rest of you too. I expected it from our first year Yoarashi, but come on, Cammy, bad girl. Cammy, bad girl. And we see our, what I've been calling Candace up till now, so I'm not that far off. Just giving like a very insincere sorry. And now, as they watch, now they're directed to watch all the people who pass are directed to watch the screen, and the battleground that had been there, where they had fought for their hopes and dreams, is immediately destroyed, just blown the hell up. Everybody's just shocked and like wondering what the hell's going on. But then Muppet Man announces that round 2 is also going to be the final round. The examinees will venture into the ruins as bystanders and prove your worth when it comes to rescuing innocent victims. And here we see the old folks just marching through and getting into position. And Deku's just watching and thinking back to how he would watch the old All Might video he watched, the debut video of All Might, and just thinking to himself, rescue. And actually, this is something I was seeing like a lot of in discussion. Like people were wondering if the next round would be actual rescue, because that's the next big part of superheroing when you stop and think about it. I mean, we know that they're perfectly viable as action heroes. Now they actually have to prove their stuff as actual rescuers, and I don't know if we haven't really seen them get much training in that particular respect. So that should be interesting. And at the very least, like, I'm wondering just how this will be determined. Like, are they going to have to work together? Are they going to be competing directly again? Like, first to save so many victims wins. I mean, are they going to be a matter of getting in each other's way? And I think, and some of the discussion I've said suggests that the old folks and kids that are part of this are going to be acting or appearing to be all panicked and freaked out. The idea being that kind of a controlled environment for dealing with a panicked individual, especially in the Hero Academia world where everybody's got their own quirks, so you don't know what you're going to be rescuing. Like they could just be toss all kinds of stuff, crazy stuff at you. Still, let's see. Like I said, this chapter was Aoyama's moment. Like this is definitely for him. Like you get a lot of like stuff from like the minor team. Like for example, the what I almost want to call the outer academias. Maybe that's yeah, that's my little nickname for like whenever there's like a lesser group, like the outer senshi of Sailor Moon. But moving on. Like I said, we got to see them all in action. We got. I love the fact that Hagakure's power is literally flashing people. I mean, I didn't really think much about it until just now, but it's like, yeah, okay. Okay. We have Ojiro's like being just badass, usual, and this, like this in this moment, like everyone just comes together, and it's no, yeah, it was because of Aoyama. He brought them together by basically being like a beacon of hope almost. Like I said, when I looked at the scanlation, Eraserhead was like there were still that many of them left, but here it's like they were all still in the running. I wonder now if we're gonna hear out Eraserhead like chewing out the stragglers later at some point. But then we also see like Shiketsu Highs. Like so, it looks like there are quite a few of them did pass. Like so, we have Yoarashi, Inasa, like we have Chewbacca and Kami, and we at least see like two other people behind Chewbacca there. So there's definitely a more than just we've seen already. Like those four are probably like our main ones, like them and Shishikura, who is out of the commission. Yeah, we have the 8 from them. So at the very least, we have what is it there? 31 of the potential 100 people confirmed for sure, at least. And well, I'd probably say 33 because we have at least the 2 other Shiketsu hats, but among them named characters, I should say. We got the 20 UAs, we got the 8 from Ms. Joke, and the 3 guys from the 3 like prominent characters from Shiketsu. So, actually, I guess it kind of puts paid to my prediction that Minato would be like the one who would pull through in the clutch, but I do like the fact that they gave it to Aoyama. And we got this nice little tidbit into his past. Like, it's strange to me, like that someone. How do I think about this? Like Deku is one thing, but in a world where everybody's got quirks, like superpowers, and look as widely varied as they do, as a natural consequence of that, what could be the deal with Aoyama that he would actually feel so differently from everybody else? That's just a strange thing to me in this case. The only thing I can think of is maybe he's legitimately like foreign or part foreign. Like that's maybe the French isn't just like some gratuitous thing he does. Maybe it's just his innate. Maybe it's his first language. But it seems odd that it would be so different from everybody. So I'm not quite sure what to make of that one, to be honest. There's also a nice little crouch shot of when Ida and Aoyama are first seeing each other. Like we're seeing like a whole bunch of the other people taking this test. No, like if you stand us here, we got like a devil-looking guy flying around, grabbing someone. A girl who seems to be fighting with her pigtails. Let's see here, anything else? A headless man, it looks like. Don't know what that's about. And then, like I said, along with all that, though, there's also the big revelation here that Bakugo seems to have finally clicked everything together. I mean, like I said, Deku said from the beginning that his power wasn't his own, that he got it from somebody else. And I noticed in one of the discussions I followed, like he overheard the conversation between Deku and Todoroki. So there's that too. In fact, someone I think actually put up a picture of like every instance that he had of that. There was those, his seeing Deku's reaction to the whole "it's your turn now," to All Might when he pointed out at the cameras, and All Might's own sketchiness at when he asked what Deku was to him. So like, it's not surprising. Like I said, it's not surprising that he's worked it out. Like the thing with Baku is, as hot-headed as he is not an idiot. I mean, he is intelligent. It just his hot-headedness tends to override that a lot, like 99.5% of the time. Still, so like I said, I don't know if we'll see any. I don't think we'll see any immediate aftermath of that though. At this point, in fact, I'm not even sure if we'll see Deku as like the big focus here next week or not. I mean, imagine like a lot of it's going to be just like a description of just what this next test will entail, of course, like how it's scored, how you pass or fail, etc. Probably like it'll be like a matter of like maybe like it's failing to save victims, but since it's like a controlled situation, people who would die are like strong enough to take it. So we'll see. But still, this was like a very. I really like this chapter. Though. It's always fun. I like to see the relatively minor characters. I don't want to call them minor characters, but relatively compared to like Deku, etc. Get their little bits of limelight. Like Ida is fairly important, but even he's like kind of taking the sideline here with everybody else. Like I said, it's Aoyama. This is Aoyama's moment to just stand out as he always loves to. So I won't begrudge him that. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to bring up here, but I think I got everything covered here. It's like all the little things that I can think of anyway. If there's anything else you want to throw in this, though, like I said, drop something in the comments, or next week, sometime between Thursday and Monday of this week, between when the Scanlation comes out and the Vist comes out, like, if there's something you want me to bring up or something you want to ask me about, hit me up in the comments or something, or hit me up on Twitter at sgamer82, whatever you want to do. I'll make a point of bringing it up if I get the message. Right. In the meantime, though, this has been the typical manga review for My Hero Academia, Chapter 108, Rush. Hey, I hope you all do have a good time, and see you next week.